going back a little bit, Jennifer, at the end of the first Lilith's storyline, you had appeared to have been killed when the rest of your group encountered a pack of human Liliths out in the wilds of upstate New York. However, at the very end of that story, we had seen that you had not in fact died and that Lilith had contacted you because Lilith had a special mission for you. This mission was to go up to Montreal ahead of the rest of your pack and find a Lamia named Moiragh to kill her, basically. Lilith had suggested that you might be the best person to do this because Moiragh was very, very suspicious and would not let anyone except her sire get close to her. And Lilith, oh, sorry, I used the wrong, there we go, the wrong music volume. Okay, sorry. And so Jennifer, you traveled to Montreal ostensibly to find the Lamia Moiragh, to kill her for Lilith, because you could impersonate her sire. Now, you don't know her sire, Amar, but Lilith, as she spoke to you, told you that she knew her very well and would be able to give you all the information you need. So you traveled north up into Montreal ahead of the rest of the pack. It took a little bit of doing to get across the border and to find your way into Montreal. And once you arrived in Montreal, not being necessarily a detective, it took a little bit of doing to find Moiragh, but you did manage to do so, and we'll open tonight with that. But before we do that, if you want to tell us a little bit, about who Jennifer is and what her state of mind might currently be.
Oh, yes, darling. Hello. Jennifer Shelley is a doctor, a medical doctor, with specialties in anatomy and physiology and surgery. You see, she many moons ago worked at a sanatorium wherein she very often tended to young women who had been, shall we say, dumped there by their husbands, claiming hysteria and things of that sort. And after a certain period of time, Jennifer noticed a pattern that perhaps these men were wrong and these poor women were just suffering under the thumb of their rule in the homestead. So Jennifer made it a mission to help these women and to get them out of the sanatorium. But in so doing, one time a young girl had caught her in the act of disposing of one of said husbands, and things have been a little bit rocky since then. Decades ago. But now, Jennifer, although a bit confused and maybe a little bit worse for wear after having been staked through the heart, darling, and now not able to contact her friend, Vanessa, is a bit unstable on her feet, but she understands a mission when she receives one.
And so you tracked down Moiragh to a place in Montreal called Ile Sainte-Hélène. Ile Sainte-Hélène is an amusement park that is basically opened throughout the nicer parts of the year, but it's closed, of course, for the most part in the winter. You followed her there. You thought perhaps that she had her lair there. However, as you approach the place where you tracked her, you saw her go into this abandoned horror house that has been in disuse and closed for some time. And you watched her slip in, but as she slipped in, you realized she wasn't going in like someone who owns the place, but she was going in like someone stalking prey. She was going in stealthily and being very careful as she stepped in. And so I would like to ask you at this moment, as you stand in the very cold, because we are a little bit back in time at this point, in the very cold autumn air here in Montreal, as you watch this Moiragh slip inside this abandoned horror house, what do you do?
Well, truly, darling, I think I've been mishearing you this whole time. I didn't realize you were saying horror house. I believe that I would be watching for just a little bit of time to ensure that she would not be coming back out again immediately. And then I would try to make myself as paper thin as I possibly can so as I could slip along the side of the wall and follow quietly.
Well, you can go ahead and make me a dexterity plus stealth roll.
Oh, excellent. I shall indeed. I've got these lovely little clicky-clacky things here that I'm going to try rolling.
Actually, also, if you would like to give me a rouse check.
Oh, a rouse check. This is to check if I'm hungry at all, yes. Oh, I'd say that's a rousing success, dear. I'm going to roll these dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 successes, darling.
Silently, you move through the cracks and the hallways of this abandoned horror house. You can immediately tell that a vampire has been lairing here for some time. There is that unmistakable stench of dried blood. You can even see that there are traps, things of that nature. It looks like perhaps some kind of trapdoor type vampire has been lying in wait here and capturing their prey here and eating here. But as you move deeper into the this fun house, this horror house, you hear suddenly a scream and then another, and then the unmistakable sound of some kind of altercation happening. What would you like to do?
Oh, scuttlebutt. Well, I suppose I'd move a little bit more quickly, but I'd be keeping a wary eye out for traps, you see, as I believe that I've stepped into the lair of what I almost suspect would be something along the lines of a carnivorous plant or something. Something like a Venus flytrap. So I'd be watching my step, but moving along as rapidly as I can.
As you do, you hear, as I said, the unmistakable sound of a scuffle. You arrive at what would be a door that would lead to one of the inner parts of this horror house. And you lean in and take a look at what's going on inside. Inside, you see your prey, your target, rather, Moiragh, who is attempting to kill, or so it seems, this other kindred that you don't know, that you don't recognize. This kindred appears to be perhaps younger, less experienced, is not really looking like she's able to defend herself much. You see her try to summon shadows, so you suspect she might be a La Sombra, but Moiragh is definitely much older and also a trained assassin. And you can tell right away that in a few moments, this will end badly for the younger vampire. However, just as you're about to perhaps make a move or decide what you want to do, it might be prudent to attack Moiragh while she's already focused on somebody else. But as you take a look at what's going on inside, you see something strange. There is a kind of shimmer, and you immediately, from that shimmer, detect the presence of another kindred. And in a strange way, it's as if that kindred has always been there, but you're certain he wasn't there a moment ago. And what he does is over in a very brief moment. But what you do see is this man that you also do not recognize because you've never seen him before. But in literally the blink of an eye, he seems to materialize out of nowhere, launches a knife that strikes Moiragh in the back. She screams in pain, and the weirdest thing is what happens next. As this man sort of shimmers away again, and it's again this strange feeling like he was there all this time, but then he wasn't there. It's a strange thing. You see this strange occurrence where the knife that's in Moiragh keeps disappearing, reappearing a foot away from her and plunging itself into her again, and then disappearing and reappearing about a foot away and plunging itself into her again, and then disappearing and reappearing about a foot away and plunging itself. She is immediately trying to kind of find her attacker, but there's no one, and no matter what she does, there's nothing that she can fight back, and this blade just keeps moving back and forth as if caught in a time loop or something, and just consistently doing that last movement that it did of appearing a foot away from her and stabbing her. In that moment, the younger vampire manages to scramble away. She definitely knows this place. You see her reach for what appears to be a hidden trapdoor perhaps, or something like that, and she slips out in a moment. Moiragh, also after seeing this, realizes sort of what's going on and makes her way out. She pulls herself away, rolling from the knife, and doesn't notice you or doesn't notice anything else. She's too focused on this blade, and she just sort of rolls away and throws herself through a boarded up window, and in a moment is outside, and you can see this fairly imposing trail of blood leading away from her. And the strangest thing is that even after she's gone, that knife keeps doing the same thing. It keeps disappearing, reappearing about a foot away, and planting where it would have been, and then disappearing, and it seems caught in that kind of time loop there. What would you like to do?
Oh, that's a rather interesting spot of magic, isn't it? Have you ever watched an animal documentary where a cheetah is perhaps chasing down a gazelle? Well, I'm asking, have you?
I'm just never sure if Jennifer's talking to herself or if you're actually talking to me, because I assume Jennifer talks to herself a lot.
Well, the documentarians have been told not to intervene when prey is under the thrall of a predator. So I shan't touch anything that I've seen because I'm rather too smart to. While I've seen the younger one slip off somewhere down a very scary looking trapdoor, I think I will follow the older vampire with the one with the curly hair. She seems injured and the blood trail is easy to follow. Follow your nose, as they say.
That you do, slipping out through the same busted now, boarded up window that Moiragh exited from. You slip outside. She is impossible to miss. The trail of blood is too much. You suspect that the knife was doing aggravated damage. She's going to be very easy prey for you. You follow her and find her very shortly afterwards, having crawled all the way, perhaps aware that she was being followed, having crawled into one of the enclosed Ferris wheel buckets that people can sit in the wintertime when wheel is operating, and has hidden in there, but it's impossible to miss her. The blood trail leads right up to it. What would you like to do?
Is it very far overhead, dear?
Would you repeat that, please?
Is it very far overhead, dear?
No, it's on just near the ground floor. It's not moving. It's near the...
Oh, very well. Well, I will just approach it, and as I'm approaching, I go, "Here, kitty, kitty."
You get near it. You don't hear anything. The door is closed. Blood leads straight up to it. You make your sound. It echoes in the empty night. You hear nothing else.
Now. I know you're trying to hide, but it's rather foolish as I can see a massive trail of blood coming from you, darling. Now, do you need some help?
Again, you hear nothing. You hear the creaking of these buckets as they sway in the wind. You hear the creaking of the trees and the wind through the tarps of the various tents around here. But nothing else.
I'm a doctor, rather well versed in anatomy and physiology. Would you like some help? Oh, well, this is just pish tosh, and I go up and I pull open the door, and I see if she's in there.
Give me a wits and alertness.
All right, I suppose more of these clicky clackies then. Is that what you're asking for? Yes. Sure, yes, excellent. They make a rather nice sound, don't they? Oh. That's 4 successes, darling.
You suspect that if she were not as wounded as she is, she would have probably succeeded in her ambush, but as it happens, you smell the blood coming out of her a moment before she drops down on you, and you realize that what she's done is gone through the bucket and climbed up on top of it silently to ambush you. And as you open the door, she comes falling down on you, but with your rolls, you manage to sidestep so that she kind of only half falls on you and then rolls on the ground, and you can tell that she's incredibly wounded. As she hits the ground, she rolls kind of over and is bleeding profusely from several aggravated wounds.
I'm standing there and I've got a black turtleneck on and a sensible camel-colored coat, and a very nice below-the-knee skirt and some boots, and perhaps an ascot around my neck. And I just stand there and I look over her and I say, "Are you quite all right? I can help you, you know."
Who the hell are you?
My name is Dr. Jennifer Shelley. I'm a rather unique physician, if I do say so myself.
Well, physician, I'm certain you know as well as I do that your doctor's care is not going to do much for me. I would rather you leave me alone unless you have some vitae to share with me. Yeah, it's the only thing that's going to help me at this point.
Oh, I dare say you don't need any vitae from me, darling. And I kneel down next to her and I pull out a pair of blue nitrile gloves and I snap them on and I say, "Come, let me see." And I peel open where it might have stabbed her, and I begin assessing the wound.
Give me a intelligence plus medicine roll.
Oh golly, that's rather good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 successes, darling.
With much pain and much squirming and screaming on her part, to the point where you hope there's nobody else on this little island or they'll come running over, you manage to close a number of her wounds, but there's this strange effect where they seem to consistently be reopening as soon as you close them. It's as if the wounds themselves are caught in some kind of time loop.
Oh. Well, that's fascinating. And I watch for a couple cycles as they seal and reopen and seal and reopen, just sort of marveling at it at a certain point. And I'm sure the poor woman before me just screams and writes, and in pain at a certain point, and at that moment I go, "Oh, right, yes, of course," and I just take a little scalpel out of my jacket pocket, and I just cut a little slit, and I drizzle a little bit of VtM in her mouth.
She louds it up very gratefully, latches onto you, and drinks as much as she can. Now, she's very weakened, so she doesn't have a lot of strength, so you can easily push her back whenever you want to, and when you do, she leans back and she says, "Well, thank you, Doctor. That'll have to do until I can find something else."
Well, I don't have anything else on me, my dear, but we could certainly get out of the wind. Come now. And I scoop her up and I put her into the car of the Ferris wheel, and I sit opposite her and I say, "Now, you're in a rather interesting position, as I just saw what happened where you were attempting to attack that young woman back there, and then I saw you getting stabbed over and over and over and over again by a rather handsome young man, and now you're here. So if you don't tell me what's going on, I could easily take you up to the top of this Ferris wheel and drop you off the edge."
Whatever happened to first do no harm?
Oh, I'm not that kind of doctor, dear. That's not in my purview anymore.
Got me confused. First you try to save me, and now you want to kill me. Who are you exactly?
Oh, I'm Dr. Jennifer Shelley. I'm a specialist in anatomy and physiology. First of my class. No, it's not that I want to kill you. It's that I'm, let's see here. What do they say? Negotiating. I would like to know what happened, and I would like for you not to lie to me about it, because I know how to split you in ways that you've never even heard of.
What are we negotiating exactly? What do you want with me?
Well, I would really rather like to know what the hell just happened back there. I have some friends I was looking for, and all of a sudden you began attacking a young woman who, I don't know, but by the smell of her, perhaps was also someone like us.
So you just happened to be in this abandoned fun house on this closed fun park in the middle of the night, looking for your friends?
Well, what do you do on a Thursday?
Normally I'm at home watching reruns of you, but tonight...
Well, that's a terrible show, darling. You really shouldn't watch it because it's medically inaccurate.
Yes, well... What's your stake in all this? I assume there's a point to you negotiating with me?
No, I just don't want you to lie to me, darling. You see, I was looking for my friends, and I had heard rumor that they had come here, and then I saw you attacking a young woman, so I could only by a reasonable deduction assume that you might have attacked my friends as well, and I quite frankly don't like that. So why don't we start by you also telling me who you are?
My name is Moiragh.
Moiragh. And of what clan are you?
I'm not so sure after so long. I don't see the importance of that right now.
Well, I'm just curious. Maybe it would let me know how I can help you a little bit further.
I'm a Lamia. Yes, I know. Rumors of our disappearance have been, as they say, greatly exaggerated.
A Lamia? My goodness. Something out of mythology. Why? I've never met a Lamia before. That's fascinating. It's a pleasure. Are there any interesting markers? As you see, I am leaning in to my clan a little bit, as it were. I find it aesthetically pleasing. I was wondering if perhaps there are any indications that you might have some sort of special things. You see, it's not every day that someone meets something out of mythology.
Well, if that is the road we must go down, let's just say that if I'm not selective and careful with my feeding habits, I just might start a plague running through mortals.
Oh, disgusting and vile. Fascinating. Bubonic type or something rather more contemporary?
I guess close to the plague as you could find, not something that you would be able to cure to eat. But tell me now about your friends.
Well, they're probably some of the few friends I've ever had, really. There was this very short one who wore a bright green mask, and she had these two piglet tails coming out, and she always wanted to fight things. When she found a snake at one point, that was rather interesting. There was one, she was from the south. She had tinctures and potions. She knew things I didn't even know, things that could charm and perplex the body. And then, of course, there was darling Vanessa. She was very fascinated by death, as am I, and we got on rather well, I would say. She's true blue, that one.
The Liliths from New York.
That's the group, yes.
Have they made their way up to Montreal after all?
Well, that's sort of what I'm trying to discern. I went ahead as I had, special orders to come here, but I don't know if they've made it, but perhaps they have. But I had seen you, and you were futzing about with someone I can only assume was a kindred, so I'm guessing they did make it.
Who gave you this particular mission of yours?
That's a really great question that I cannot remember off the top of my head, darling, and this is the actor talking, not the character.
It was Lilith.
Oh, yes, Mother Lilith. Mother Lilith came to me and she said, "You must go ahead." Actually, she said I should try and find you, or perhaps even your sire.
Well, it's all coming together now.
I'm all ears, darling.
Your friends. I don't know the other ones you speak of. The one in the mask and the other one in love with death, but the southern one, Ada. I'm the
That's
one
right.
who set her on this path. I came to her after Mother Lilith spoke to me, told me to come and find her very specifically and tell her to come up here, Montreal, for this is where the Dark Mother would be reborn. But my dear doctor, we've all been lied to, all been led astray. The voice that spoke to me, the voice that spoke to Ada, the voice that spoke to you was not that of the Dark Mother, but of someone far more sinister and well versed in the arts of mimicry and deception.
Not Mother?
No. She is a follower of Set, named Kementiri.
Oh dear. Oh dear indeed.
She's a direct child of Set himself, 4th generation. The only one of that age still running around. She is wanted by the Camarilla. It's their number one enemy. She has spent her unlife causing all sorts of trouble, all sorts of mischief. Throughout the ages, she is somewhat of a boogeyman. It's become impossible at this point to tell which acts were committed by Kementiri and which acts were committed by other people pretending to be Kementiri, so frightful is the mere mention of her name.
Double trouble, I see. And forgive me, Moiragh. I want to believe you. I should certainly like to believe you. But how can I be convinced that you're telling me the truth?
A long time ago, the night that I was created by my sire, who did it to save my life, I was also abandoned by her. She was forced to leave London at that time. I ended up in the care of one called Artemisia, who was my sire's lover, and one called, alternatively, Orange Mall or Lady Merit, but who turned out to be Kementiri in disguise. Kementiri had been hunting kindred named Asenath for her own reasons. She used the Dark Mother as a cover for a lot of her actions. She preached the Dark Mother's gospel to us. She convinced us that she was on the path of Lilith. And it was only much later that I realized that it was just more of her smoke and mirrors, more of her dissembling. When I traveled here, it was because she had reached out to me in the guise of the Dark Mother and sent me here on this fool's errand. When I got to Montreal, I ended up finding out some secrets gathered by a group. May I? And she points to a satchel.
Yes, but know that I could kill you with a thought if you attempt to kill me.
She pulls out a little tablet and she opens it and she flips through it. There was a company in town, a group of hunters called Aegis. They had been collecting information on our kind for a very, very long time, and because of her infamy, Kementiri actually had her own little dossier in their paperwork. When I was unwittingly held by them for a while, before I escaped, I managed to acquire this information, and she shows you a number of files. And first of all, the sheer amount of information that this company seemed to have on Kindred is a little bewildering to you. But you can see fairly complete, spotty perhaps actually, but still fairly good historical records of this Kementiri person going back almost 300 years. And throughout all of it, you can see that some of the names that she's used over time were Orange Mall and Lady Ophelia Merritt and so on and so forth down the line. And she says, when I saw this, I knew I'd been duped. I turned on her then. I've discovered that this one, the one I attacked tonight, a La Sombra named Tiffany, is someone that she needs. A long time ago when my sire first came here, she came here with Asenath, this kindred that Kementiri hunted. My sire helped hide her here somewhere. And Kimintir is after something of hers. Perhaps an artifact or her body, if her body's interred here in torpor somewhere. And I decided that simply as a means of getting back at her, I guess. Petty vengeance, perhaps, but for all the lies and deception that I would do my best to prevent this from happening. She needs this Tiffany person to access the body of Asenath. And so I decided to take that away from her.
I believe I understand you. That makes sense to me. It's a bit of a desperate move, but what is not these days? I find it fascinating that time and time and time again, history repeating inwards on itself like a snake eating its tail. How very often people will warp holiness or sacred language or thoughts or feelings to serve their own agenda. And this Kimintir, well, she's not unknown to me, although much perhaps like a Lamia. She is, as you say, a sort of boogeyman, something that lurks under the bed to keep all the little vampires in check. To know that she's alive or undead and stalking the earth the way she is, well, you don't strike me as someone who might speak these things lightly. Now, I've only just met you, but it certainly does feel as though you're telling me the truth, and, well, I believe you.
That is why Kimintir, in the guise of the Dark Mother, sent you to kill me. Prevent me from putting a hitch in her boat. Kimintir is here in Montreal somewhere. I'm planning on doing what I can to interfere with her for as long as I can. If you will have mercy, allow me to walk away from here tonight, because I fear there's no way I could stop you if you wanted otherwise. Then I will do you the favor of attempting to warn your friends of the truth of the person whose voice they are following.
Well, I'd like that very much. If one doesn't have friends, well, what does one have? I would very much like your aid, and I certainly can help you in whatever way I can, so long as we have an understanding that you don't ever try to kill me, and I won't ever try to kill you.
I think we can work that out. And as she says that, you feel something else. Jennifer, you feel a presence. At first you maybe jump a little bit, feeling this thought trying to enter your mind, but then you recognize the tenor of it. You recognize the feel of it. Voice that you haven't heard for a while. A voice that resonates in your head. Child, what it feels to know you're near once again. Come find me. The blood of the old dragon stirs, and we should spend some time together while we can.
Hello? Ruby, darling, is that you?
You don't hear anything anymore, but you feel a pull, as if you are being summoned. Somewhere across the city, in fact. A little bit further north and west from here. You recognize her hand.
Oh. All right. Well, shall I come around 11 o'clock then, dear? Hello?
Moiragh looks at you like your marbles, but then realized that you've been acting like your marbles aren't. She just says, "Are you okay?"
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I've just received a call. I believe my sire would like to have a spot of tea. I haven't seen her in a dog's age. Well, I hope that... is our business finished here? If you need me, you can find me, I suppose. I'll be in Montreal for a little bit.
If you're letting me walk out of here, then our business is done. I will track down this Tiffany and hopefully find your friends and warn them that they're being deceived by Karen. Hopefully they'll listen.
Thank you for your services. I deeply appreciate it. And if you see Vanessa, do tell her I would love to take her out for dinner at some point.
You see a little bit of horror across her eyes as she tries to imagine what you, of all people, possibly. She stows it away right away. She's seen a lot. She's seen a thing right now. She says, "I'll gather my strength a bit here, but I'll move on soon enough. I will wish you good night."
Good night. And you know what they always say? An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
That's an interesting thing to say to someone so closely tied to the snake.
I thought it was fitting.
You step away back into the night. You find your way to where you put your rental or stolen vehicle, or it is that you're using to get around. You follow the pull of the summons. It's been some time since you've talked to your sire, Ruby, and as you drive up the Cary Boulevard and eventually arrive at a place called Ruby Foo's Hotel, you see your sire's name in big, bold, lit up letters right on the front and sides and on the signage of this hotel, and you can't help but snicker a little bit at the thought of such an ancient Zemishi hiding in such an obvious spot.
Oh, she always was a clever one. Oh, they've got a Fabricville nearby. No, focus, Jennifer, focus. Well, I'm glad to see the old gal is still doing business. Can't imagine what it smells like in here, though.
You walk in through the front door. Place here's deserted. Seems that it's been some time, perhaps a few months, since there's really been anyone here. You walk in through the lobby. Place is quiet, dark. You know immediately where to go. You go all the way upstairs and even beyond the top floor to a special reserved floor you see in the portrait there, where the sections of the hotel are colored in red rather than white. You make your way up there, and as you do enter that corridor, you see a number of little kind of, I don't know what you would call them, but the kind of thing that you would put a statue on, for example, to display it.
A plinth?
Yes. A number of them, and whatever is installed on them has been boxed very carefully in wooden crates and have shipping labels on them. The art has been put away and wrapped carefully also in shipping crates. The door at the end of the corridor is ajar, and you recognize in it the presence of your sire.
Well, I make my way to the door, and I just lightly rap on it. Ruby, darling, are you in?
You look inside as you hear the rustling of what might be silk you see her for the first time in such a long time. Her flesh now, which used to be where it's supposed to be last time you saw her, her flesh has now been meticulously removed to expose the bone beneath. It's been reshaped into a flowing mantle that wraps around her like a parody of a silk coat. The muscles covering parts of her body are sculpted into graceful and natural symmetry. Her eyes, lips, and ears are now stitched in place by threads of hardened sinew that move like living filaments. She approaches you, the bony tusks and horns that she has molded out of her very own bones, almost impaling your face as she comes in for a hug. You can see that her hair is not hair, but her dead veins, dark and wet still, that have been molded into the semblance of a thick, long mane of dark hair that piled all the way down straight down her back. And she comes in and pulls you into a bony, wet squelching.
Oh, Ruby. Oh, you've never looked better. I am in awe. This is a masterpiece, a work of art, truly. My gods, do you mind? Could I take a closer look? I'm enthralled.
Please, sweet child. It's just my traveling garb. I've been a little restless and wondering what I might try next, and I thought that something simple for traveling would be best. And she extends her arms and moves slowly, spinning on herself and letting you see the full, gory, artistic beauty of her creation herself.
Oh, my stars. Oh, exquisite, darling, truly. You've outdone yourself. I imagine those other little art projects may not have captivated you as much as you captivate me now. But traveling, whatever for? Oh, I haven't seen you in decades. Do tell me.
Much is happening. Much has happened. Much will happen. I've felt stirrings. The old blood begun moving somewhere far in the east. The dragon's blood is among them. Soon they'll be coming here, as only those among us who are of a certain age will satisfy their thirst. But something else stirs. The Dark Mother stirs also. You did good tonight in letting the Lamia go. Our mother has designs for her and the others. But our part in her plans are over. We now have to focus on ourselves, on our own blood, our own people. I feel it's time for a little change. Would you do me a favor and come with me outside? I need your help.
Oh, of course. Yes, of course, right away.
What brings you to this city, child?
Well, you see, I ended up as part of a pack, a rather special group of women, all those who were very interested in the Dark Mother. And we found ourselves on a wee bit of an adventure upstate New York, and things went a little sideways. I ended up staked. I'm fine now, but I lost track of them. You see, they headed north towards Montreal, They had plans, designs, things happening in Quebec City. There was a lot of confusion. But I got separated and I tried to find my way back. And then the Dark Mother called upon me to go find Moiragh. But then I found out that the Lamia was dealing with something rather sinister. Something, I dare say, rather more sinister than we.
Well, the Dark Mother will soon walk among us, and in her wake will be nothing but blood and ash. But she can take care of herself. You've walked out at this point, and you're out into the parking lot, and she guides you further, and you come to a spot behind the hotel where there is a garden that has been built up. It is, of course, shuttered now for the winter, but you walk in, and she says, "Would you look around? There should be a shovel somewhere."
Oh, of course. But you're not going to shovelhead me again, are you?
I'm too old for that. And beyond that, I've long called this city my home, a very, very long time. As you can see, this is now dirt in which I'm asleep.
I understand. Yes, of course. I go find the shovel.
Get a shovel, and when you come back, she pulls a little leather satchel out from under her robe, her flesh robe, and she hands it to you, and she says, 2 good shovelfuls should do for me.
Oh, certainly. Would you like a bit of mud in there, or would the topsoil do for you?
You can mix it up.
Gladly. And I dig down underneath, hoping to get a worm or two.
As you are digging, she says, "Time of great change is upon us all. And if there is something those of us who share the old blood of the dragon understand, it's change, transformation, metamorphosis. The elder being who once slumbered beneath this city is gone now. And with his departure, the influence of the Black Pyramid you see there across from the highway will wane. Each individual dreamer in the city will now be able to dream its own dreams and not corrupted dreams of the saint. That will do. Let's go back inside. There are a few friends I would like you to meet."
Oh, am I dressed well enough for the occasion?
You might be overdressed, in fact. Turn to my rooms.
Ah, of course.
She guides you back upstairs. When you arrive in her room, you can see that somehow invisible helpers have come in and packed up a lot of the remaining things, and she takes the bag full of dirt that you've given her and slips it back under her robes. And you realize when she does this that because her robes are her flesh, she basically just opens a slit in her flesh and places the bag of dirt inside her body and seals it.
Inspired.
I care for this city a lot. I have come to think of it as my home, and I would like to return someday. But before I tell you what I would like to ask of you, there's something else I would very much like to see.
Oh, do go on.
My finest work. I would like to gaze upon it once more before I go, should we never meet again.
Oh, of course, sire. But of course, yes. And at that I take my glasses off and I remove my shirt, my jacket, my skirt, my boots, my ascot, and I stand there naked, much like the Vitruvian man. From the neck down, you see that my skin is completely translucent. You can see all the inner workings, the anatomy and physiology, the nerves and veins and arteries and pulsating organs and, well, it would be a beating heart, but just for a bit, Jennifer turns on a little bit of a show, much like she's a living cadaver, there for examination.
Marvelous. As beautiful as the day I created you. It warms this old heart to see such beautiful work, unblemished. It is good to know that in this transforming world, some things have constancy. Thank you, sweet Jennifer. If you wouldn't mind remaining thus for a moment, I think my friends would appreciate seeing this.
Certainly. You know, while we follow the Dark Mother, I very often viewed you as a motherly type. I certainly aim to please. Gladly. Shall I pose like this then? And I go through a variety of different positions.
Come with me. We'll meet them somewhere special. And as she takes you there, she says, "What I would like you to do for me, Jennifer, when I'm gone, is I would like you to do what you do best. See, now is the time to unify this city, the people, the citizens. Bring them together, and as we well know, nothing brings people together like a shared fear of something they don't understand. I believe your unique gifts would serve well for this, and I would like you to bring them to the city, give them something to fear, something to unite against, and let's see if they will set aside the petty differences in order to stand against the dark alien incursion that you are sure to visit upon. I myself have drawn too much attention and will go find solace and quietude in the cathedral flesh for a time."
Oh, I imagine that's like Disneyland to children, the Cathedral of Flesh. I would love to see it at some point. But yes, you're right. If you're commissioning me to practice my art, why, I couldn't think of a better patron. There was something that would excite me more.
Visit the Cathedral of Flesh, my dear. You're in it now. And as she says that, a set of double doors at the end of the hall open, and you feel warmth and something moist in the air waft over you. You see a round room, dark red. You see 6 mirrors lined around it. In each mirror is a reflection of a figure in a dark cloak. These figures stand around this room in perfect, unbroken circle. The walls of the room pulse faintly, as though the room itself is alive and breathing, blood coursing through the flesh of the walls. You realize, indeed, this room is not in the hotel, but rather it's somewhere in the fabled Cathedral of Flesh. As one, the 6 figures move, and what you thought was reflections of them become them. Their long black robes skim the fleshy floor, stark against the sanguine glow that leaks from unseen cracks and nooks in the fleshy architecture of the room. As they move in and gather around you. Ruby moves around, introducing each of them to you. She says, "These are the Isekai, the last, eldest, the blood of the dragon. There are 7 of us."
Oh, it's an honor. I dare say this is better than a birthday party. Oh, I've never seen anything so magnificent. A pleasure to meet you all.
Come now, child. Stand in the middle of the room. Let them gaze upon the work of art that you are and take in what they have become and what you also might one day achieve.
Oh, with the utmost pleasure. I dare say I'm beside myself. This is the happiest day of my unlife. And once again I go and stand in the middle of the most beautiful room I've ever seen, with my arms outstretched in all my glory.
She introduces each of them. First, there is the Whispering One. Tall and skeletal, its skin stretched thin like wet parchment. Its jaw has been widened into a permanent, unnatural grin ringed with too many needle-sharp teeth. A faint susurrus of overlapping whispers seeps from its mouth even when it stands silently. Voices speaking language, no longer never spoken. Then there is the Chrysalis Priest. Its flesh resembles a cracked cocoon, patches of chitin, patches of exposed muscle, all shifting slowly as though something underneath is still trying to emerge. Where the eyes should be, delicate insect wings flutter in and out of the socket, beating softly with every breath it still takes. The rooted scholar, from its spine protrude long, gnarled bone tendrils that drag across the floor, like roots searching for soil. Its face is split by a vertical seam, opening occasionally like a wooden cabinet, to reveal rows of tiny blinking eyes set into the inside surface. The one called the Mask of Veins has a head that is featureless except for a mesh of pulsing, branching veins arranged in the faint suggestion of a face, an ever-shifting map of red currents. When it looks at something, at you, the vessels realign to point toward it like compass needles. The Bone Architect has folded its own rib cage outward and around its body into an ornate cage-like exoskeleton, etched with symbols, its arms split at the elbows into 2 forearms each, ending in long sculptor's fingers that twitch compulsively even at rest. And finally, the hollow-voiced child appears as a child's size but unmistakably ancient. Its torso is hollowed out into a resonant cavity. When it speaks, the sound reverberates from deep within, as though a chorus of mournful voices is trapped inside. Its elongated fingers end in translucent claws that reflect the room's red glow.
Oh, you're all... Well, forgive me my impertinence. You're all so very beautiful. Works of art. Oh, it's like seeing the Sistine Chapel.
They gather around you, look at you closely. Fingers, hands, tendrils, long purple tongues slip along your body. Each one of them using the sense it prefers to get a glimpse of the work that Ruby has made of you. As they do this, Ruby pulls on her own dark cloak. I am the skinless matriarch, and together we are the last surviving children of the dragon.
One would see a faint bloody tear just rolling ever so gently down my cheek and onto the wet floor of flesh. It's an honor. I truly hope I could aspire to be one of you. Oh, how I would take this as a boon.
This is your first trial, child. You see, it is good to be reminded that there are things in this world that are unknowable, alien, that we can never comprehend. Too often the humans believe in their hubris that they have conquered everything, that they know everything, that they understand everything, and this blinds them more than anything else. It is time for you to remind those of this city that whatever they fear, whatever skin color or cultural attribute or sexual orientation or gender they seem to fear, it is time to remind them that there are things out there that are truly dangerous, truly alien, truly too horrible to behold, and that their daily little fears or peccadillos. Remind them, child. Remind them of what fear truly is. Remind them why they fear the night.
Oh, with pleasure, with reverence, with the utmost delight. These violent delights have violent ends, don't they? Perhaps they've been delighting too much in squishing those who would not be squished. Maybe those who do the squishing ought to be squished.
With her cloak pulled over her head, Ruby and the rest of the council step back, each through their own little portal into the Flesh Cathedral. In moments, you are left alone in a small round room with red carpeting and red wallpaper. It still smells vaguely of moist flesh, of blood, and of other things that you can't put a name to and wouldn't want to because they are so much more delicious for being unknown. Two months later, you've been in Montreal now for a little over 2 months. You've had time to discover the city, time to acclimate yourself. You know that Moiragh has warned your friends, but they did not listen. Yet, whatever they did still played into the Dark Mother's hands. And the last communication you had from Ruby was that the Dark Mother walked once more, and soon would make her presence known. But you've had this time now to think, to prepare, to plan, and to execute first of your works of art. Can you tell us a little bit about where we find you and what's happening as we do?
Well, considering the fact that my world has been turned upside down in the most divine way by angels, I find myself rather inspired. I believe this is more of my religious faith. I am emulating a lot of the works that one might find in paintings on a wall of a Catholic church, or in the reliefs along some sort of mural in Rome. And I'm finding myself in my basement laboratory, one I've established here at Ruby Foo's. Considering the fact that she left, I thought I'd take up shop, perhaps spruce up the hotel, make it a little bit of an invitation for the sorts of scummy businessmen who come through to cheat on their wives or do horrible, horrible things. The ones who yell at their employees and take away their health insurance, those type. And I find myself in my very specific laboratory down in the basement, where I've got all the accoutrements, several drains in the floor, metal tables. It's rather cold in here, but I don't mind. I've got my lab coat on and my plastic covering, just to keep my appearance up. And on the table, I'm creating an angel. And I've been very gently peeling back the skin of his face, starting at the forehead, just in tiny strips, in almost rivulets, almost like shavings, having them curl down, so they create this curly-looking red beard as I've been working on him. And I very gingerly have, you see next to me there's a pin cushion, one of those tomato ones that has the little pearl pins in it, and I take one out and ever so gently I put one into his tear duct. He moans. Now. Not much noise from you. You wouldn't want to move and make an error, now would you?
Still alive, your victim can do little else but moan and cry and shake and tremble, and as you lean back and gaze upon the first, what you're certain will be many, many angels to come. The city was long known as the City of 1,000 Steeples. Perhaps now it'll be called the City of 1,000 Angels. It would be good to bring back a little fear of God to this city. As you lean back to admire your work, first of many, what are you thinking?
Well, I rather like this motif, this theme. I find it rather exciting. And as I sit there and I press very gently, very long, very pointed, pearl-tipped pins now into his ear, just into the eardrum, almost like an earring. I step back and I go, I wonder what the newspapers might call me once they find this specimen on display. I think I should rather do what was that, a bloody eagle? Perhaps I'll hang him up in one of those warehouses. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Hang him from the rafters, covered in pearls. Wonder what the newspapers would say about that. What they might call me.
And with that, my friends, we will end tonight's special little epilogue of our VtM Montreal Chronicle. The story is not completely over, as we will return next year with a few more little vampire stories, and perhaps we'll get to see exactly what Jennifer's work has done to unify the city in fear. But that is a tale for a later time. For now, we close the book on the VtM Montreal Chronicle.